800-282-3333.
When it comes to putting an honest day's work, you need the right gear. That's where Red Wing Shoes steps in. Trusted by the toughest, worn by the best. Hi, Teresa here from the Fargo Red Wing Shoe Store. We're more than footwear. We're committed to quality, durability, and comfort for your feet. Whether you're in the field, on job site, or out on the town, Red Wing Shoes has a perfect fit for you. Red Wing Shoes, where hard work meets the perfect pair. Because a job worth doing is a job worth doing right. 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing Shoes for ultimate durability.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. It is 1:05 right now, and a quick check on your currents. A little light rain, a little fog out there. It's 40 degrees here in Fargo, but we will be seeing changes as rain turns over to snow at some point later this afternoon and into the evening hours. We'll have a full rundown on that forecast coming up in just a moment. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm. Alongside me is Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki.
We look like twins
We look
today.
like twins, and for some reason we're acting like twins as well. We're live out at the Giving Hearts Day at the Fargo Medical Foundation. If you want to stop by and make a donation, that'd be great. And I believe you can also go online for Giving Hearts Day and make donations that way as well. Ag Director Bridgette Readel is with us as well. Bridgette, how are you doing on this wet but warm Thursday afternoon?
I can verify. So I just slid her in sideways into the driveway to jump on air with y'all because I just got back from agronomy on ice. It was indeed pretty much raining the last 15 miles. Prior to that, it was just wet. So a little bit of change in the weather versus what we were expecting, folks. And it's not like you guys haven't warned us, but I hear there's snow out west and more to come. Would that make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a lot, but did you say you slid in your driveway, getting a little slick out there?
Skirt, skirt.
No, I was in that big of a hurry. She's parked sideways right there on the apron, and I'm just in here to be with you guys. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Good for you.
All right.
Yeah,
well, we've got we've got some rain.
Rain
that continues to fall across the area. Mainly lining up from about Thief River Falls to the heaviest rain to just north of Fargo. And then radar is indicating as you get down towards Lisbon area, it's starting to mix with a little bit of snow. This whole area of rain continues to kind of pivot from south to north. And, again, the heavier rains just to the north of the Fargo area. This area of low pressure will continue to scoot to the east and will drag in some colder air and eventually mix this with some snow as we head towards evening. Your evening commute should be okay. Some areas could start to get a little slick, but other than that, we're looking at just rain through the afternoon with temperatures slowly falling through the 30s, currently still at in the mid to upper 30s across the FM area. Even out to the west, as far west as Jamestown, temperatures still above the freezing mark. So our models are calling for 1 to 2 inches of snow here. I'm not seeing much. Boy, I think we'll get about an inch, just enough to kind of slick things up. So for your Friday morning commute or later tonight, things could start to get slick after dark. But other than that, this isn't going to be a big snowmaker, just enough to kind of mess up your Friday morning commute in some areas, and then that snow will be out of here by early tomorrow morning. But we're going to be pretty breezy with northwest winds of 15 to 30 and gusty, and much cooler weather. The 40s that we've been experiencing over the last few days.
Oh, tell me we're going to see more 40s.
Those are gone.
Ah, come on, Dean.
They're gone.
Why would you do this to us?
They're gone. They're gone for the rest of the month.
What?
Yeah, we've got cooler weather to begin with through the weekend and next week, but then after Valentine's Day, looks like we'll have a nice chunk of Arctic air coming down. Could see a few clipper systems, one of those around Valentine's Day as the colder air does come in. So just keep that in mind. We'll slowly add, I think, to the snowpack out there, but I'm not seeing any big storms on the horizon. Just these little clipper systems and much colder weather. It'll kind of be a shock to the system. I mean, this morning, 45, 46 for our low temperature. That's like April, man.
What a beautiful way to start off a day in February. You're starting the day off.
Way too warm.
Unfortunately, it's not getting any warmer today.
No. Now, Bridgette, how was the obviously you guys, you weren't on the ice. You pulled things on shore, right? Out of agronomy?
We did. So this was agronomy on ice, and we were right off of Woodland Resort by Devil's Lake. And the ice, as of last week was still 20, 22 inches. But you got to be really careful where you're going, right? Pressure ridges, all that type of thing. Now, what's changed drastically in the last few days, really over the weekend, was warm temperatures, a lot of water on top of the ice. And you have folks that might not be familiar with that lake. So for safety's sake, we moved up on shore, really became a very festive tailgating atmosphere. I think if I counted right, I was somewhere in the neighborhood of 37, 38 trailers up on shore with folks going back and forth from one to the other. I mean, it was agronomy on the beach to the point that there were lawn chairs, large umbrellas, beanbag games, hogs being roasted, ribs being smoked, campfires. It was a very festive time. And the discussions I was a part of were anywhere from, I'm raising 900 acres of canola this year for the first time, to how does vertical tillage affect my incorporation of granular herbicides, to, whoa, there was just a court decision made on dicamba last night. What's that going to mean for my over-the-top applications in soybeans? And that's a topic that we can talk about a little bit more, because that's going to affect a lot of folks' decision-making plans as they go into the 24 growing season. So lots of stuff happened, guys. Lots.
Sure sounds like it.
Was it as good of a turnout as it has been in recent years, or not so much because of the weather?
I would say due to the weather, we probably had less. We had the number of trailers we were expecting. We probably had a few less farmers than we were expecting, only because there were folks talked about black ice and so forth on Wednesday morning as they were trying to take off. But the quality of conversations were really good, and we had on hand folks like crop consultants from a tri-state area. We also had some folks that have worked in pesticide regulation for a number of years, and that's where this discussion about dicamba really went. So just to give you two some background, you've heard us talk about traded soybeans, where there's a soybean or a corn or a cotton plant that has a specific tolerance to a specific active ingredient herbicide genetically bred into the plant. And by genetics, remember, this is all part of Mother Nature. The way we got Roundup Ready into those plants was because there was a naturally occurring gene in nature where a plant just Roundup didn't affect it. That was isolated, and then via a shotgun shell, that DNA was moved to healthy plants, and then the breeding process took over, and more plants then had that tolerance. Same thing still happens today in that manner of bringing that trait tolerance into corn, soybeans, cotton. What happened on Tuesday late afternoon was there was a court decision out of Arizona to vacate the label that the EPA had approved for dicamba for 3 specific herbicide brand names that could be used over the top of soybeans or cotton. So that meant that you could have used Ingenia, Tavium, or Extendamax over the top of cotton or soybeans after those plants were up for good weed control. What the court said was that the EPA didn't do things right back in 2020 when they renewed those labels. And therefore they have vacated that label. Meaning if you are a grower who have that particular trait in your soybeans or cotton for the 2024 growing season, and you planned to use dicamba over the top of it, that is no longer a legal application. So you can still use it before your beans emerge. You can use it in other crops if you're using dicamba in wheat or something else, but for soybeans and cotton, this has changed. So for farmers who are listening, I strongly recommend you quickly have this discussion with your crop consultant or your agronomist. What's my plan? What should I be doing? Do I need to look at using more conventional applications this year in order to combat my weed pressure? Should I be thinking ahead about making some changes in seed if I still have time? That's not going to be the case for everyone. Now, things like this have happened in the past. Sometimes labels have been reinstated, but that can take 3 or 4 months. Guys, where are we going to be in 3 or 4 months as far as a field situation is concerned?
Hopefully out in them.
Growing fields?
Yep, vroom, vroom. There go the tractors. So we know that this is going to be short notice. And so we're going to watch how things are moving right along with this decision with the court. More information, I'm sure, will be forthcoming. And those who are at the State Departments of Ag, university pesticide programs have all been very, very busy trying to go through this court document and make sure they have all the understandings of what may or may not happen with it. So that was big news in the farming world coming out on Tuesday evening. Wow. Lots to discuss there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Very interesting.
So,
well,
okay.
Thanks for sharing that.
Did that make sense, what I explained? I mean, I'm hoping I was trying to break that down into something that we can talk
Layman's
about
terms?
without sounding too
You're right.
scientific. Yeah, yeah. So did I get you there? Are you all good?
If Justin understood it, I think most people did then.
Huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think we got
I
the
wrote
picture
my
there,
notes in
Bridgette.
crayon. Yeah, I wrote my notes in crayon just to make
I
it
didn't have
easier
my
for everybody
pencil, so I
else.
can't erase my mistakes today. They're permanently printed in pen here, so yeah, I can't.
There's
do
your
that anymore.
downside.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we got some fun things
shoot.
coming up on the show. You want to be a part of our conversation today, ask some questions, join in the conversation, have some fun with us. Give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. Studio inboxes, that's weather or ag at flagfamily.com for weather or ag-related topics or questions, as well as those live comment boxes over there on Facebook and YouTube Live. If you want to call in with Road Warrior reports, you are the eyes and ears out there. We can only see so far here at our studio. If you're out and about traveling and the weather's getting a little poor or road conditions are starting to deteriorate, we would love to hear from you. Let us know where you're at and what that weather looks like. Give other people a heads up that may be traveling that direction. Again, the phone line, 701-293-9000 is the Red Wing Shoes phone line. And we got another full check on the forecast coming up here throughout the course of our show. Got a few ag topics we're going to get to as well. One of those being solar panel dairy farms, as well as CL bacteria in livestock. And if we have enough time, because Bridgette, I don't think we talked about this yesterday, there is announcements of an agreement between John Deere and Starlink. I think we
Yes,
should find
there
out
are.
a little more detail about what that is when we come back.
We've also got a guest.
We also have a guest.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've got Andrew Jason with Grand Farm. He'll be joining us here after the break to talk about what is Grand Farm. Well, Jason will tell us all about
And
it. But yes.
how you can give on Giving Hearts Day for Grand Farm and many other wonderful ag-based charities. So yes, Dean,
Right.
you are exactly right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There you go. So all of that and so much more coming up next on Weather and Ag in Focus.
Vets and feeders higher, hogs lower. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risvet with this market update. The live cattle complex is sporting yet another rallying day as the contracts continue to charge upward, as traders are expecting this week's cash cattle is going to trade higher. No cash cattle trade has developed yet, and no bids have surfaced. Packer interest should improve throughout the day, although trade could be delayed until tomorrow. Today's WASDE report was rather encouraging for the cattle and beef markets in 2024. Beef production for 2024 was increased by 75 million pounds from a month ago, as the second half of the year slaughter pace is expected to be more aggressive than originally thought. Quarterly steer prices were encouraging, as all 4 quarters of 2024 saw a price increase from January's report. Steer prices in the first quarter of 24 are now expected to average $176. That is $1 higher than a month ago. Second quarter is expected to average $180, which is $3 higher than a month ago. Third quarter prices are looking at $180, which is $2 higher than a month ago. And fourth quarter of 2024 is expected to average $184, which is $1 higher than last month's predictions. Imports for 2024 were raised by 355 million pounds as the reduced cow herd leaves fewer cattle to be marketed from our domestic herd. Oceania is expected to supply more imports. Exports for 2024 remain unchanged from January's data. Boxed beef prices are mixed. Choice down 88 and select up 48 with a movement of 68 loads. We'll get a look at the livestock numbers next. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Every day, our brave military men and women, along with their families, make tremendous sacrifices for our freedom. Patriotic Hearts, a nonprofit organization, is dedicated to supporting these heroes and their families in their times of need. By donating your unwanted card to Patriotic Hearts, you'll be supporting job transition and job fair programs, veteran entrepreneurship, counseling, and retreats for combat veterans and their spouses. Call 800-560-3870. You'll receive a tax deduction, and we'll arrange a free pickup at your convenience. Imagine the difference you can make in the lives of those who have given so much for our country. Your car donation will directly impact military families, veterans, providing them with the support they desperately need. Call 800-560-3870. You can become a part of something bigger. Join us in our mission to uplift and honor our military community. Call 800-560-3870 to donate your unwanted card.
Let's get a look at the livestock numbers. Live cattle February up 150 at 183.72. April up 167 at 186.47. June up 142 at 183.62. And the August live cattle, they're up 97 at 182.60. Feeders March up 177 at 247.32. April up 120 at 252.40. Lean hogs February down 22 at 73.15. April down 95 at 80.15. And the May lean hogs, they're down 65 at 85.70. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And howdy, folks. Thank you for staying with us this afternoon. So glad that you are joining us on Weather and Ag in Focus. And we are live today on Giving Hearts Day from Dakota Medical Foundation, talking about all the excellent ag-based charities that are out there. There's so many I want to name. North Dakota FFA Foundation, North Dakota 4-H Foundation, North Dakota Stockman's Foundation, and with Dean and Justin, you will find one other, and that would be the Grand Farm. Andrew Jason, the Ecosystems Director from Grand Farm, is joining them. Jason, how are you?
I am great, Bridgette. Thanks for having me. And it's really tough to compete against those other foundations, even though we are not competing at all. So
you are not, because
Yes.
all of you have something different, and you want to hit a different aspect of agriculture that's all worthy, right? Because Grand Farm is not the same as Farm Rescue, and so we want people to know what the difference is between all of you. And so, tell us about Grand Farm.
Yeah, so we are a nonprofit. We're based here in Fargo, and we were started about 5 years ago with kind of the mindset of how do we really tell the story and continue to advance our region as leaders in agriculture and specifically ag technology. And so kind of going back, if you go back like 100 plus years to the Bonanza farms that existed, the story of Bobcat, Steiger Tractor, kind of what happened as Phoenix International became John Deere, and all this kind of like the research happening at NDSU, kind of how do we continue to tell that story and advance that? And so basically that's kind of the genesis of Grand Farm. It's let's tell the story and advance our region as ag tech leaders. And so basically today there's kind of three things that we do. We do a lot of ecosystem building to bring together growers, startups, corporations, education, and student groups. So we have a lot of different events, programs like that. We have a program management office that works with our 70 partners on actually like innovative projects. And then we have a 600-acre campus in Castleton that we're building out.
So now the plots of land here. So are you going to be growing how many different crops? Is it going to vary each year, or
it varies each year based on our partners? So basically, kind of what we do is we go out and talk with our partners, where they basically kind of lease land out there, and they can grow do their own plots and trials. And basically, there's kind of like some are using it for demonstration plots, some are using it for research, some are using it for validation. So I think last year we had about 12 partners that had plots with about 16 different crops that were growing out there.
Wow. And they have to take care of all the harvesting and planting, or do you guys take care of that?
We do all that.
You do all that?
We do the majority of that. Mm-hmm.
I've got an idea here, Bridgette. I think we've got our land. For this.
Dean, having land is one thing. Having profitability and financing is another.
This is true.
That's what it all comes down to, right?
True.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So as we talk about things that are going on with Grand Farm, this was literally a seed. It was an idea that was planted in someone's head, and so you've been a part of this project for a little while. But how have you seen this evolve over time? What's been some of the greatest accomplishments you've seen come out of Grand Farm so far?
Well, yeah, I think a couple of the big wins for us is kind of the idea was first born in 2018 when Barry Batchelor, kind of intrepid entrepreneur here, challenged us to think about what's Fargo's major. That's kind of how that came about. We got the initial seed funding through Microsoft through a $1.5 million grant to get kind of this spun up. We launched a coding school, so Emerging Digital Academy as part of that, is to kind of fill the tech jobs that exist in agriculture. We've had about 90 students that have gone through that over the last 4 years. And then kind of the big news from our standpoint is one, last year or 2 years ago, we were awarded a $10 million grant from the state of North Dakota that allowed us to buy the final land. So we have 600 acres, like I mentioned. We're going to be opening our first building this June. It's a 25,000 square foot innovation shop that's kind of designed around 3 use cases: shop space, event space, boardroom, classroom. And then AGCO is going to run Dakota Smart Farm on the 300 acres of the farm. So this is going to be a farm that they actually run that's focused on kind of sustainability practices, looking at retrofit equipment technology, and they're actually going to be running it and doing their own trials and testing all around farmer profitability, what's available out there right now. They're going to be sharing this out there. And then the biggest kind of win, I guess, happened last week when we were awarded, along with North Dakota State University, the Chamber, and the Economic Development Corporation, a National Science Foundation grant of up to $160 million over 10 years to continue to advance our region as ag tech leaders.
And what are the top 2 or 3 things you're expecting to get out of this project?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things. One, there's the storytelling aspect of what is agriculture in 2024, 2025, and beyond. So we really want to kind of like showcase the technology side. 2 would be connecting the industry, the researchers, and the growers all together. So like one of the things that I'm most excited about this year is we're going to have some startup plots out at the farm that are going to be half-acre plots that we're making real cheap for startups so they can get out on there and they can showcase kind of innovative technology. Kind of my favorite example is we have a biostimulate company out of Alabama that's going to be that's creating a biostimulant out of human hair and chicken feathers, which is fascinating, I think. So I think it's kind of like the industry, grower, researcher connection. And then the third would be workforce attraction, bringing in startups and technology companies into our region. I think over the last 5 years, we've had about 9 companies that have kind of moved here, set up operations in the Fargo region because of us. So those are kind of the big 3 that I get excited about.
Is part of this going to be, there's a lot of disinformation with social media and the internet now. Is part of this going to be, informing the public? There's the big thing about non-GMOs, and I mean, we could go on and on about that. Is part of it going to be education to the general public as well, so they're better informed?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And it's all around like let's get different practices, different technology out there and tell the story of what's happening in agriculture. That's kind of really where we see our fit. It's like let's create this like playground where companies, growers can come out, deploy technology, and see the applications and the impacts in a real world environment, rather than going to like a trade show and walking around the different booths and not knowing, kind of, hearing the story but not seeing it.
Right. So with some of these innovations that are coming in or being talked about or shown, what's one of the coolest things that you've seen then?
Well, one of the ones that I get the most excited about that we've talked a lot about is staffing is obviously one of the biggest issues, truck driving, things like that. Several years ago, the Department of Transportation launched kind of an autonomous truck that was developed through a company called Kratos Defense, which is a Department of Defense company. And, we saw this technology. We're like, wow, there's a lot of applications in agriculture in this. And so over the years, we kind of brought this Department of Defense company to town, got them connected, showcased them the opportunities in agriculture. And now they've gone into partnership with MnDOT. So if you actually go down to Wahpeton, there's autonomous trucks that are on the road where it's basically the first truck is manned, the second truck is unmanned. And so having real world impact.
Cool.
That's awesome.
We've had them on air with us talking about that because they're using them in the yards. When you don't have enough labor and you need to have that following truck behind you so you can move more and more of your sugar beets into the processing plant, that makes a huge difference. And you guys 100%. Are like the incubator for people to get these ideas and get them up and started. And North Dakota is really an emerging leader in not only ag technologies, but in autonomy, in what we've done with drone technology over the years, et cetera. So, just a big hats off to what you're doing there with all of the work, Andrew, because it just continues to grow over what we've done the last few years. So that's been excellent. Very happy.
Well, Thanks, Bridgette. I mean, it truly is an ecosystem approach. Grand Farm, we're nothing without the universities, the workforce, the startups, the company, and probably most importantly, the growers.
Oh, absolutely. Growers have lots of questions, and they want to be able to see it and touch it, because the best part about doing that is when your grower comes back to you and says, but what if you tweaked it just this way a little bit and made it even better for me? And then it works.
Yes, it's all about those feedback loops.
Right.
It really is, and that's been super helpful. So you, as one of the beneficiaries of Giving Hearts Day today, Andrew, do you have a specific goal in mind or anything that you have been advertising with folks?
Well, I think a couple of things to flag is, one, we have a lot of different events that are going to be coming up. Our first field day is going to be March 13th, so would love to invite kind of the audience out there. These events are free. The donations help make most of our programming free and open, including free food and usually free beer. So that's
wait. What date? Yeah. March what?
I did March 13th, and I did say free beer, so that's great.
All right. Okay. All right.
And then, the other thing is we're always looking for volunteers at different events, so at our site you can kind of donate. And then one thing just to clarify is you have to donate through Emerging Prairie, which is kind of like the parent nonprofit. So if you want to make a donation to Grand Farm, it's through Emerging Prairie. So if you're actually on the website, search Emerging Prairie.
Awesome. And if someone wants to get more information about the Grand Farm, where should they go to do that?
grandfarm.com.
Hey, right on.
Pretty
Short
simple.
and simple.
There you go.
Awesome, Andrew. Thanks very much for talking to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
No problem. When we come back, we got more ag topics to do. We got another check on the forecast, and we still got some presidential trivia. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
With Giving Hearts Day quickly approaching on February 8th, we're thrilled to announce that a generous Ann Carlson donor is matching all donations leading up to an astonishing $1 million. Your generosity this year will again further Ann Carlson's mission and help provide the necessary resources for individuals with developmental disabilities or delays across North Dakota. You can give now through February 8th by visiting givingheartsday.org and selecting Ann Carlson Center. And remember, your gift will be matched. Visit givingheartsday.org for more information. This Giving Hearts Day, donate to Fraser. Fraser is the longest-serving nonprofit organization in North Dakota and continues to meet the needs of children, youth, and adults in Fargo and surrounding areas. Fraser has grown significantly to include independent living support, residential and day support services for people with disabilities. This year's donations will be matched up to $125,000. There's no need to wait until Giving Hearts Day. Go to givingheartsday.org and select Fraser to give your donation today. Fraser, helping children, youth, and adults since 1893.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. Today is Giving Hearts Day. More than 600 nonprofits in North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota are looking for help. To donate money or your time, go online to givingheartsday.org. Last year's event brought in $26.2 million from 42,000 donors. The Great Plains Food Bank served a record number of people in need last year. The food bank provided food to more than 156,000 people in 2023. That is 13% higher than the previous year. Food Bank CEO Melissa Sobolik says increasing inflation is one of the biggest contributing factors when it comes to increased need. She says the figures don't call for a record-breaking celebration. Instead, she says it represents a call to action. And the Drug Enforcement Administration is asking the public to make every day Drug Take-Back Day.
By removing these pills from your home, you're removing that temptation for other people who may want to attempt or may want to experiment, basically.
That's DEA spokesperson Emily Murray. She says there are hundreds of collection sites set up across North Dakota and Minnesota where unused and unwanted medications can be safely disposed of year-round. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
This Giving Hearts Day, support the heroes who honor our heroes year-round and in any weather. The Fargo Memorial Honor Guard. Your donation ensures they continue their mission of dignity and respect at military funerals. Every dollar counts towards providing uniforms, flags, and maintaining their crucial service. Let's give back to those who give much. Visit givingheartsday.org and search Fargo Memorial Honor Guard. Together, let's stand by those who stand by our fallen.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit ThorBuildings.com today.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. Looking at 1:34 on this Thursday afternoon. We got some trivia that we got to do here. We do got a little bit of trivia. It's going to be our presidential trivia that we're going to be doing. So if you want to join in on that, the phone line to do so is 701-293-9000. That's the Red Wing Shoes phone line. And it's Presidential Day Trivia powered by PetroServe USA. If you're able to answer our presidential trivia question correct, you get entered for an opportunity to win a $250 PetroServe gas card. And we'll be announcing the winners of that at 4 o'clock on President's Day right here on WDAY. Right. What do you want to do, Dean? You can pick the question.
I'm looking at all these. We've got like 30 questions here, and I'm trying to figure out which one looks like a pretty easy one. We'll do this one. All right. And again, if you guess the first person to guess the answer correctly gets entered into that drawing for $250 PetroServe gift card. You can use that for gas. You can use it. Hey, they've got great lunches over there too. You could use it for anything over there. So here's the question. Which president served the shortest time in office, dying just 31 days after his inauguration? Again, that's which president served the shortest time in office, dying just 31 days after his inauguration? 701-293-9000 if you've got the correct answer.
Are people just shouting out the answer in the background to you? Is that
There's a few people shouting out some answers.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Oh,
nice.
man. Well, until we start getting some, and Jacob will screen these calls, let's get to some ag topics there, Bridgette.
We certainly can, and also want to say a shout-out to the Corn and Soybean Growers Expo that was held on Tuesday of this week. That was at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds, done by North Dakota corn growers and soybean growers. It was well-attended. It sounded like their main speaker, who was a geopolitical analyst, did a fantastic job. So glad to hear that, because that event had been struck by weather 2 years in a row that really made it difficult for attendees. This time they made it. And speaking of weather, we want sunshine if you happen to be a dairy farm that wants to use solar panels. University of Minnesota is doing some work on one of their farms to talk about how to get the right way to have solar panels available in their grazing areas, because they want to see more power being used. With the panels that they've got, they can do about 30 kilowatts of electricity off these panels. Now, funny thing, when you're going to build panels, you have to figure out how high you got to make them, because they can give a little bit of shade to the cows, but more importantly, they got to make sure that the cows can't do any damage. When cows stretch out and reach up, they figured out they had to make sure that those panels gave at least 8 feet of space before the cattle could do any damage to them. Also, heavy-duty posts so cows don't rub up against them and knock them over. But what they've done also is have to change their intensive grazing rotations, because grass under the panels doesn't mature as much as when it's in full sunlight, etc. So it's changed some of the things that they do, but it is proving that cows and solar panels can get along well, and you can have more of a green dairy than you might have expected. It's not just about the alfalfa; it might be about the solar panels too.
Cool.
It's kind of cool.
Bridgette, so speaking about cows, I've got a good dad joke for you. You ready?
Oh boy.
Let's hear it.
What do you got?
Right.
Okay.
How do cows get their information daily? From the moose.
So there's a moo in here somewhere. From the moose paper. Got it.
Boo. And I was told my comedy sucks.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is worse. This is worse. All right, let's go to the phone lines, because we've got some people on hold here. We're going to go to Margaret first. Margaret, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. And what do you think the answer is to today's presidential trivia question?
I'm going to say Harrison.
What's that?
Harrison?
I think we can accept that.
President Benjamin Harrison?
William Henry Harrison, 1841. So congratulations, Margaret.
Well, thank you. It was kind of a wild guess. So
Was it? Okay, yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, back in 1841. So
Dean, you were around back then.
alive.
Yeah, yeah, I was around back then.
Not too old, but you were around.
Yeah, right? Yeah, of course. Well, Margaret, we're going to put you on hold here, and Jacob, our producer, is going to get your information. And again, we'll be drawing for that 4 o'clock on President's Day, so make sure to be listening. And for your chance to win a $250 Petroserve gift card.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Margaret. And, boy, right off the bat. So
you know, why can't we answer
sorry to
news?
Pat, Bob, and Tony who were on hold there.
Waiting.
Yeah. So,
well,
well.
Good news. I've got a couple of follow-up things for you guys. One of them is not only a story that Justin asked about, but even before that, we had a fire in Tappan, North Dakota recently, and it had flaxseed in the elevator. And I've had several questions that people wanted to know. They said it certainly seemed like it took the fire department a long time to get that fire out with the flaxseed in there. Flax is an oil seed. And so when I say oil and fire, what would you think that might be like?
Like a candle.
Smoldering, perhaps?
Yeah.
So it's going to take a while for that to smoldering to stop. Flax is what we crush for linseed oil, which is used in paints, in the making of linen fabrics, and other items. So with that flax, just a heads up for those of you out in the Steele, North Dakota area, I'm sorry that it's taken a little while to get that fire out, but that would be why, is flax is an oil seed. So heads up for those folks. And then Justin, you wanted to talk about John Deere and Starlink. They're going to space.
Let's hear what's going on between old Elon Musk and John Deere over there. What kind of deal are they trying to strike up with this global internet system and John Deere?
Do you think he's trading his Tesla for a tractor?
I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla starts making a John Deere tractor.
So John Deere hasn't announced an agreement with SpaceX. What they are doing is going to be using the satellite communications or SATCOM service for farmers. This will connect the existing and new machines through satellite internet service. Why do farmers care about having good internet service when it comes to their machines? The autonomy, just like we talked about with Andrew Jason when we were talking about autonomous trucks. Autonomy happens in tractors as well. Real-time data sharing, remote diagnostics, enhanced self-repair solutions. Remember, there's been a lot going on with the right to repair discussions, and if you have good internet systems, you can help on your own tractor download solutions, maybe software updates, and you need a good internet system to do that. Because if you don't have it, and you don't have the software system updated, and your tractor can't move, none of this is working out well for you when you're trying to get farming done. So that's one thing. Also, you have machine-to-machine communications. Now, there has been a question in regards to adding this third-party telematics solution into this data stream. Who owns the data? Now that you have John Deere and the farmer and Starlink involved, as the data passes through John Deere's operation centers, John Deere users can rest assured. John Deere tells us that we don't anticipate any changes. The customer still controls all of their data, just in the ways they have before by using John Deere operation centers. So John Deere getting involved in the stars, you might say. Not like they weren't a star before.
All right. And we have Matthew on line one. He's got an ag comment. Matthew, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. What you got for us today?
Yeah, I was going to mention to Bridgette. You know, Bridgette, we had this discussion like a week ago about leaving these two heathens in control. What happened yesterday?
I'm so sorry I had to be gone. I was really tied up with the agronomy on ice. I can promise you, Matthew, that's not going to help not going to happen again for some time unless I'm on an airplane to Commodity Classic. I'll do what I can.
So here's my ag comment. So this is a true story. This weekend I'm at a dinner party over by Pelican Lake, and this farmer's there, and he says from North Dakota, and I don't know his last name, but just Paul. And he said, yeah, I got a couple thousand acres in the Hillsboro, and he does sugar beets and some other things, he said. And I said, giving a plug for the show, because he said he listens to WDAY, and I said, yeah, do you know who Bridgette Readel is? And first words out of his mouth were, yeah, she talks a lot. I just about died. I couldn't believe it. And I said, yeah, that's the one.
That you're not going to lie? I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. You know Paul? Yeah.
I know who you mean. Yes.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He knew who you were right away. And anyway, it's such you chuckle out of that. But
That's awesome. You know, they don't put the quiet people on the radio, so apparently this is working out for me, Matthew.
hey, that's a compliment. All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, Matt, thanks a lot for calling.
you.
Appreciate it, buddy. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, take that.
I know Matt,
Matt's
so
calls.
yeah, I'll take
Yes.
that. He's yep. That's okay. Next time he's in studio.
I guess he didn't like our conversation about storms.
I guess
He
not.
probably turned it off before we got to that.
He might have. Yeah, we actually were talking about something relevant instead of irrelevant.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday about close encounters with weather or storms that we've had, and Dean was talking about the time that he got involved in a big EF5 tornado down in Nebraska, and I was talking about that tornado that was up by Thompson in 2016, and then that really big windstorm and that tornado that ripped through the Brainerd Lakes area in 2015. And there was like just a few hundred feet from that tornado when it ripped through the lake. Did you have any close encounters with some storms? And this again will open the line up if you want to add to the 701-293-9000.
Or close encounters of a third kind.
No.
Aliens?
No.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close encounters with the storm, or have you had close encounters with? And why do I feel that was a call out for John to call? John, we're not taking your call.
You told him.
I have two comments for you guys, and these are based on listeners' feedback. One is that y'all want to talk about alien abductions. First of all, if they're a higher life form, why in the world are they worried about the butt of a Kansas farmer? So no, that doesn't matter. And two, one of our watchers on YouTube, Dirk, said if we get a Tesla John Deere tractor, will it have flamethrowers? Dirk, only if they are probably an organic farmer and they're looking for ways to control their water hemp, is my guess. That was how they were going to do it. So there. Got a couple of ideas.
And then I guess we had a caller left a message with Jacob. They wanted to know if people wanted to see snow, do they have to head over to the Black Hills? Boy, the closest, appreciable snow, yeah. Colorado's gotten a lot of snow here over the last couple of weeks. So Black Hills, Colorado, if you really want some appreciable snow. There is some snow in our forecast, but we're not looking at a whole lot. And we'll have more on the forecast and a couple more ag topics when we come back right after this.
Thanks for making WDAY Radio your new number one with the news that matters to you.
I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY Radio News.
Accurate weather forecasts.
Today we're going to go down in the record book, calling for a high of 50.
And personalities that you can call friends.
Tony! That would not be a good thing. No.
We're proud to serve the Fargo-Moorhead Metro and the region beyond. AM 970 and 93.1. We are WDAY Radio.
Mark your calendars for February 8th because it's time to shine your light for others with Catholic Charities North Dakota This Giving Hearts Day. Let's come together as a community to make a real difference. For over a century, Catholic Charities has been serving the elderly, individuals with intellectual disabilities, pregnant women, families, and kids in foster care. Join us in spreading love and support. Visit CatholicCharitiesND.org to be a part of our legacy of compassion and generosity. Let your light shine on Giving Hearts Day, February 8th. Together, we make a brighter future for all.
Winter is here. It's cold and it's icy. Is your vehicle ready? Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. From new all-weather tires designed for slippery roads to quality parts and fresh fluids made to endure those frigid temps, our team will have you driving with confidence. Call, schedule online, or stop by today at one of our 4 convenient locations. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
This is a shout out to all hardworking farmers and ranchers. If you're looking for the cream of the crop in post-frame construction, look no further than Thor Buildings. Because let's face it, having the right size building for your equipment or livestock is crucial for your success. At Thor Buildings, they'll design your building for max efficiency, customized to tackle the seasonal weather in your neck of the woods. Post-frame construction tailored to your livestock and ag needs. Buildings built better, stronger, and built to last. So when it's time to put the hammer down, build with Thor. Visit ThorBuildings.com today.
Have you heard about the nonprofit that's helping shape the future of education in our community? It's the West Fargo Area Education Foundation, a premier supporter of West Fargo Public Schools. Previous fundraising efforts helped purchase and renovate the Little Red Reading Bus, a mobile library that visits and holds reading events throughout the West Fargo community. The West Fargo Area Education Foundation is focused on futures. Help make a difference this Giving Hearts Day for our teachers and students. Donate today at WFAED.Foundation.
Giving Hearts Day is the perfect time to honor the life, legacy, and enduring relevance of our 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt. Your donation to the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library and Museum Project will inspire bold action and fearless participation, just like TR, who famously balked at the critic and encouraged everyone to get in the arena of life. Help us tell TR's story. Donate now to the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library at givingheartsday.org.
Let's have a neighborly conversation about the positive economic impacts CO2 utilization and storage will have for our two biggest industries in North Dakota, agriculture and energy. The Friends of Ag and Energy is coming to an ag show near you this month. Stop by and say hi. Register for a $100 gas card and ask us anything. Find out more at agenergyfriends.com. Sign the petition. Ask your questions. agenergyfriends.com. agenergyfriends.com.
Valentine's Day is here. This year, give the ultimate gift. Name a star after your sweetheart. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For 45 years, we've named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can give the most memorable gift. The star your name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And there's your screaming goat for the day. Thanks for rejoining us on this Thursday afternoon. We're still live out at Giving Hearts Day. Come on out and stop by, say hi, and help out some of these great charities that are going on. They're trying to raise money throughout the course of this day. What's the number at? Last I saw it was over $17 million.
Let me pull it up here real quick and give me a minute here.
Right now it's 18,000, almost $19,000 right now. 18,794.
That's million, Bridgette. That's million.
Oh, million. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's million. Yeah,
that's million.
Sorry about that.
Wow, look at
Far
that.
too many commas and numbers
great.
there.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing numbers that big.
You know, I've had emails from listeners who've asked, what are some of the ag-based charities that they could be a part of. You and I, guys, we talk frequently with North Dakota FFA. We just had Chloe Drummond with North Dakota 4-H Foundation on Monday. We would have Grand Farm, just as we spoke to, North Dakota Stockman's Foundation, which is part of the North Dakota Stockman's Association out in Bismarck. They are providing scholarships to students, but also when we had some blizzards a few years ago that were devastating to the cattle industry, they did grants to help replace livestock, fencing, equipment, and more. So they are another outstanding organization in the state. And Farm Rescue. If you have a opportunity to donate to Farm Rescue, they step in when farmers are injured or sick and unable to plant their crop, harvest their crop, or hay their own hay ground. And they can do that with the help of volunteers. They also have many financial business partners for equipment, etc., but they need those dollars and cents just like everybody else. So please think about using Farm Rescue on your list of charities for Giving Hearts Day. I made all my donations this morning. I had them preset, but this is going to go on for the rest of the day. Lots of time for everybody to get their opportunity to reach out to these charities and organizations, and we hope that you do. That would be awesome.
There's so many out here.
A lot of people. So are people just walking in and writing checks, you guys, or are they just happy to see you?
There's some.
They're dropping them right off here with us is the crazy part.
Like they trust you.
More trustworthy than
for a little while
someone else.
Oh man! Well, let's hit
real
quick. Let's hit a recap of the weather because we do have some rain continuing throughout the area. Temperatures right now 37 degrees, and really the freezing line is basically on a line from Jamestown to about Forest River. and up into areas around Crystal. So it's still hanging well to our west. That's where the cutoff line is for the rain and turning the snow. That is slowly moving eastward. Don't think we're really going to see a whole lot of snow here until this starts to change over, mainly after dark. We might mix in some flakes before that, but any accumulation will hold off until after dark. So your commute home should be okay. Not looking for a lot of snow, an inch. If we saw 2, Justin wants to make a bet with me, and you want to go 2 inches? I say under 2 inches. If you say
no, it's probably all going to melt.
Well, then
that's the thing.
All right.
I don't know.
Now he's backing out.
He's probably going to melt.
He's backing out. All right.
We'll back out.
I'm saying about an inch of snow here, and again, a lot of this is going to melt, but it could produce some slippery travel overnight and into the early Friday morning commute, and then most of the snow is going to be done by sunrise, but we might have a few leftover snow showers throughout the day. 20s tomorrow, and then 20s to near 30 over the weekend. And next week, we're still above normal with temperatures in the 20s to near 30, which is a far cry from the 40s. And then a couple of clipper systems possible around Valentine's Day, and then Arctic air comes back in here mid-month. And by Arctic, it'll be modified Arctic, not as cold as what we saw in January, but we could definitely see some below zero temps mid-month and onward.
Hold on. Where's that LRC calendar? I'm going to go get my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Just
so
curious if any of that cold weather.
It did say after this storm passes, we do stay above normal. Then notice the orange on the LRC, and then right after that lasts for about 4 or 5 days, 6 days, and then notice the blue on the calendar. That's below normal temperatures, and that comes in here as we head after Valentine's Day. So right on target with the LRC calendar. This storm is our Christmas storm. This storm comes back around the 25th of March. That'll be interesting to see what it brings then. That'll be interesting because
probably rain again if trends anything like the last 2.
Yeah. Because
that is very possible.
You don't really want a big snow at the end of March, especially if we've had nice weather leading up to that, and the farmers are thinking, all right, we're gonna get out.
Hold on,
I know we talked about this the other day, that it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you get the wheat planted, and you get a snow on top of that, and we're okay.
But also, I don't think that we have. I mean, we've got some frost in the ground, right? But I see water going into the ground, not just running off. So if we continue these slightly above average temperatures, we don't have a terribly deep frost, or if the frost is deeper and we can absorb some of that water on top of it, there's a good chance we're going to retain some of that moisture. I'm okay with that. I would like to see more moisture in the soil profile before we get ready to go plant a field.
Right.
There are times you hear people say, plant to moisture. Didn't mean I had to, stick it 4 inches into the soil surface in order to get it somewhere. So it would be all right to have some water back in the profile for us. That'd be great,
Absolutely.
actually. I'm okay with it. Yeah.
No doubt. You want to close with a couple of ag topics there, Bridgette?
Yeah,
let me hit a couple last-minute things.
About a minute and 20 seconds there, B.
Okay, University of Texas is doing some work on a new sensor that can be used for soil health, and it's similar to having basically your Apple Watch. That's what it's going to do. It's going to be able to measure things like pH, moisture, volumetric bulk densities, and the two main items. Carbon is such a big topic of discussion these days with greenhouse gas carbon capture and some of the carbon capture programs that are going on for farmers. This might be a way to find out what your baselines are and then continue to make sure that you're capturing more carbon, that you're able to show data of how you're doing it for some of those program payments. So this sensor, if it works, could do very well for us. Additionally, I know they're doing the work in Texas, but hey, Grand Farm, maybe you want to go talk to them about our soils and see if you can help them out up here. I wouldn't mind that at all either. Nice to see those things move around a little bit. So it's been a great day. Don't forget to get your Giving Hearts Day donations in if you haven't already done so. Looking forward to seeing the giant totals at the end of the day. And don't go anywhere because the Jay Thomas Show is up next.